a space for a woman in cricket telecast or sports telecast everywhere. People look at you like that.
I've always admired, Mandira, how you've, broken into what is like a male bastion of cricket, whenever you, earlier back in the day, you were commentating. And it was obviously, cricket is always considered a very,
Still is. It's a men's club. It's a boys' club.
It's a men's job. But you brought fashion to TV, which was so cool back then. So, how do you feel? What do you think about it when you look back? That, would it have been different today if you started?
I look back with so much gratitude. I mean, it's always very hard being the first of anything, because the first of anything gets really scrutinized, and you get the people take time to accept it. Now if you look on television, there is a space for a woman in cricket telecast or sports telecast everywhere across the board. But when you're the first to do it, people look at you like that, with a magnifying glass, and they scrutinize you, and they have comments about you, and they tell you that you don't belong there. What the hell is she doing? She doesn't, she doesn't.
Why is she discussing cricket?
Yeah, why is she discussing cricket? But the channel got me on board to ask the layperson's question, who is not a cricket purist, who's not, sitting and watching each and every, pre and post show. They want to get new viewers in. And that's what they got me on board for. And I have to tell you, it was a hard one to begin with, because there was very little acceptance. And, when you're sitting on a panel talking with ex-cricketers and legends, mind you, on cricket, it's another different language.
It is.
So it's one thing when you're sitting on the couch and you're watching a cricket match and you're discussing it. It's cool.
But you have to know everything, but like
when
on
your camera's on you and you're not speaking the language, it is another story altogether. And I have to tell you, the first 1 week, I had so much excess baggage in my head. I was so high-strung and worried and nervous. And when the camera red light comes on, I'd be like tongue-tied. And I also believed that, oh my God, I also didn't believe that I belonged there. I was like, I just need to be accepted. I want to be a part of the furniture. I want people to just be okay with me being around. When actually, I should have said, people should accept me and love me and want me around. But it wasn't the case. And 1 week went by with absolute hesitation and mistakes and fumbles. And at the end of every show, I'm not kidding, I would put my head down and I would cry. And, the legends on either side of me, barring one, and I'm going to tell you who that is in just a minute, but the legends on the left or right of me, I'd ask them questions and they just stare at me. And they'd turn to their camera and they'd answer whatever the hell they wanted to answer. Nothing connected to my question, because my question was obviously not relevant enough or not important enough or whatever. And it was very unnerving. And it was very... I don't want to say disrespectful, but I felt disrespected.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
That's how the first week went. And at the end of the first week, there was a little bit of an intervention, and the channel brought me in and said, listen, we have chosen you amongst 1,000 women. We believe you belong there. You're not an analyst, you're not an expert, you're not a commentator, you're a presenter. And if you're a presenter, then just go out there and have fun, show them your personality, and that's it. And that intervention was very helpful, I must tell you. I'm telling you this story because that was a turning point for me. And they say, heaven and hell is in your head. Happiness is a choice. Positivity is a choice. Absolutely. And honestly, I flipped a switch that day. And from an afternoon show, a mid-innings show going very, very badly, to this little conversation. And I promise you, at the end of every show, I would cry. And with this tear-streaked face. But the third show of the day, I went back saying, whatever I ask is not off the table. I'm going to continue to ask it. And the best part of it is it's live. So I'd ask legend number 1, sir, what do you think of XYZ? And it was my question. It's not like anybody was feeding me any questions. May have not been relevant, but came to my head. And the gentleman would do what he would normally do, stare at me, look at his camera and answer something else. And I would say, but sir, you didn't answer my question. And it's live television,
what
so they had to
answer.
So eventually I was getting my answers. People were respecting me and accepting me. And it was like a turning point for me. And, from people back home also not liking me because I was all over the place, to people accepting me. And the one person, when people ask me, what was the best compliment you got, or what did you feel the best about when you did that World Cup back in 2003? It was your father-in-law. He came down and he'd come for the semi-finals and the finals. And he was so respectful and so kind and so sweet.
Oh.
And when he met me the first time, he shook my hand and he said, "So you're the Mandira Bedi everybody's raving about."
Oh.
That was, it
Yeah, it
just
was like-
made me feel so good. It made me feel so special, and it made me feel like, you know what, I am making something of a difference.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it was a long enough tournament for me to change a few people's minds, but some minds got changed, and I was in cricket for as long as I wanted to be. And
Absolutely,
I
which
enjoyed
was,
it.
I think, what?
10, 12
10,
years.
12 years.
And then after that, when news channels called me, I said, look, I don't want to be away from my children doing something for a news channel. If I'm doing it for the host broadcaster, I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
The channel I was working with had the rights of the cricket up to a certain point, so I did it till then. And I really enjoyed my stint with cricket. I enjoy my stint with sport, and even now I interview such amazing sports people, so it's so nice.
Yeah.